So good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this presentation. My name is Noordin Said, and I'm a PhD student in the M4 team. In this presentation, I will talk about our work on reduced floating point precision for fine-grained accuracy and energy trade-offs, in which I will also present briefly approximate computing and our work regarding floating point arithmetic. So the conventional and traditional computing systems are by construction exact and precise, and their ultimate goal is always to perform bit accurate computations at the cost of complexity and slowness. This is the case for critical and real-time systems in domains such as automotive, aeronautics, and healthcare, for example. One of the emerging computing paradigms, as Ioana introduced, is the approximate computing, which consists of increasing hardware efficiency, speed, and simplicity. But the price to pay here is actually losing some precision. So this paradigm is suitable for fields such as image processing, gaming, AI, and machine learning, others. All these are actually intrinsically error-resilient use cases. So approximate computing can be exploited in different levels of the system stack, starting from application and language level, where languages that allow the expression of approximate behavior have been introduced, through approximate-aware compilers able to understand these expressions and translate them into specific binary code. And then finally, at the hardware level, where precise and approximate components can be used, which allows to reduce the energy consumption area or even execution time. Some state-of-art works even talk about approximate computing at the transistor and technology levels. Now, in our case, we target approximate computing in CPU-based architectures and mainly open source RISC-V implementations. More specifically, we target floating point. So for now, we focus on computations only since they are intrinsically approximate. Of course, there is also a potential impact on data transfers. As you know, FPUs are available in most CPUs nowadays, since they boost the performance and they enhance software portability and flexibility. So a source code can also be reused almost always without changes while porting from one architecture to another. Also, floating point applications are easier and faster to implement compared to, say, fixed point, for example. However, FPUs bring an extensive hardware overhead, especially in terms of power consumption, and they also contribute to area. For example, the FPU of the RISC-V processor core from ETH Zurich that we see here, the FPU constitutes around 44%. So there is a serious need for reducing this overhead to find a middle point between all the advantages brought by floating points versus their expensive cost. And one of the techniques to reduce this FPU overhead is simply reducing the precision of the floating point representation used in a system. As you know, floating point number is defined by three fields. There is the sign bit, the exponent field, which represents the dynamic range, and then the mantissa field, which represents the numerical precision of the representation. So one can reduce FPU overhead by controlling the bit width of each one of these fields using either standard IEEE 754 formats or even by crafting arbitrary formats. For example, if we don't need too much precision, we can reduce the mantissa bit width. If we don't want too much dynamic range, we can reduce the exponent bit width. Now, let's get back to the system stack we talked about to contextualize the remaining of this presentation. So first, I will talk about a few related works, and then at the application level, we propose an approach to leverage floating point approximations in a way that is non-intrusive to source code. Then at the simulation level, we introduce AXQEMU, which is a tool that simulates the impact of approximations on applications. Then at the hardware level, we propose an approximate aware FPU that enables fine-grained energy versus precision trade-offs. Finally, I will talk about some ongoing work and a conclusion. So about the related works, so to study the impact of floating point approximations at application level, there are several works in the literature that propose tools and libraries to do that, such as NPFR and JMP. These enable emulation of variable precision, although they are more efficient and suitable for higher precisions. There are also other libraries such as FlexFloat and FloatX, which are used to simulate reduced arbitrary precision. Now, to illustrate how these libraries are intended to be used, consider this example here where I declared a few variables and I perform a simple multiplication addition, D equals A times B plus C. Now, to write this in NPFR, for example, we should first declare some special data type variables and perhaps temporary variables to compute intermediate results. Then choose a precision for each one of them, and then initialize all these variables. And finally, figure out the dependencies for each operation and compute in the correct order. So you can see that things will get more messy once we start dealing with more complex applications. So in conclusion, most of the existing tools are intrusive to source code, meaning that they require the code to be transformed or rewritten. This could be feasible for applications written in advanced languages such as C++ or Python, for example, but not for traditional ones. This also means that existing software stacks are not preserved. And even when done correctly, they still rely on higher precision hardware anyway. So for reduced precision, it's only intended for simulation and the code cannot be reused as it is. Now we'll talk a little bit about the proposed approach through an example where we consider the example we saw earlier, D equals A times B plus C. Compiling this would generate an assembly instruction that performs fused multiplication addition. So this is the fmadd assembly instruction. We have a destination register RD, and then the source registers RS1, RS2, RS3, along with the rounding mode. So at runtime, normally the destination register would receive the floating point value RS1 times RS2 plus RS3. However, in an approximate execution mode, instead of that, we will execute it by first internally reducing the inputs RS1, RS2, RS3, then computing in reduced precision, and then finally extending the result back to the original format. So the idea is that the software application and the compilation process is still maintained, whereas the approximation itself is introduced at runtime when needed. From a hardware point of view, to support both operation modes, it will be necessary to modify the FPU and add an additional approximate FPU in addition to the precise standard FPU. So we associate with each standard format an approximate format. For example, this operation here would be executed on the 64-bit path if we are operating in exact mode, or on the 40-bit data path if we are in approximate path. And then if we are in approximate mode, and then similarly, if we are in single precision, if we are computing single precision operations, they would be executed on the 32-bit path here, if we are in exact mode, or on the 18-bit path here if we are in approximate mode. So the 40-bit and 18-bit here are just an example, but actually the hardware that we propose is parameterizable, and we will see all the details later. Now, for the implementation, this approach has been implemented in both software and hardware. So again, I have the system stack here to clarify exactly where we are operating. The software implementation called AxeKimmer helps study the impact of the precision variation on the quality of result at the application level. So basically, for a given software application, we try to find the relationship between operator level precision and application level quality of result. Then the hardware implementation is an approximate aware FPU that we developed to evaluate the impact of operator level precision on execution time, power, energy, and area. Now about the software implementation. The approach was first implemented for software simulation on top of the well-known K-MIR binary translator. So for those who are not familiar with K-MIR, it is an efficient dynamic binary translator. It translates programs from one instruction set architecture to another. For example, we can translate RISC-V or ARM or MIPS programs to x86. It's an efficient one, and all the instructions are actually emulated in software. K-MIR is also capable of running all sorts of applications, so Linux applications, bare metal ones, multi-core, multi-threaded applications. All these features and others make it the best candidate platform to implement this approach. So K-MIR operates by first taking as an input a RISC-V executable binary and possibly an input data set. It translates it to an intermediate representation where each RISC-V assembly instruction is emulated by a C function. So for example, the RISC-V assembly instruction here, fadd, is emulated using the C function helper fadd-d. This only simulates the precise behavior. Up until now, we were talking about K-MIR itself, but now in AxeK-MIR, we also added an approximate execution mode, which allows the instructions to be emulated approximately with a precision that is fixed at launch time. So we have the parameters of this approximate FPU that are fixed at launch time. And when the application is compiled, we can define the functions to be executed precisely and the ones to be executed approximately without actually being intrusive to the application source code. So details can be found in this paper. Now, as an application example, here we have a software application called Jmaint, which is used in gaming. The horizontal axis shows the variation of the exponent, and the vertical axis shows the variation of the mantissa. And the heat map colors show the degradation of the quality of result, which is here represented as a miss rate. Now, as you can see, the miss rate for this application does not change until we reach 18-bit mantissa and 5-bit exponent. This means that with a total bit of with a total bit width of 24, so it's 1 plus 5 plus 18, we can still achieve the same quality of results as in double precision, as in full precision. Now, as I showed earlier, approximate computing consists of actually trading some precision against hardware efficiency. So for example, if we allow a miss rate of 0.005%, which isn't much, we can further reduce the bit width down until 19 bits instead of the original 64 or 32 bits. This would obviously translate into gains at hardware level, so in terms of power consumption. Similarly, if we allow a miss rate of 0.1%, again, we can further reduce the bit width down to 16 bit. Now about the hardware implementation, for the hardware part, we propose the following architecture, where we have a non-approximable standard block, which allows to execute instructions such as conversion, comparison, classification, etc. Then we have a second block which executes the square root and division operations, then fuse, multiplication, addition, if you may, in 32-bit and 64-bit. So this is the precise or the baseline standard FPU. In order to support approximate execution, we added a third block which contains reduction blocks that cast the original inputs to reduce precision, then reduce precision operators that execute the operation in reduced format. And then at the end, we have an extension block which allows to convert the result back to the original format. Now, at execution time, An assembly instruction can be executed either on the standard data path or on the approximate data path, depending on the input signal do-approx, which is controlled by the user in software. So now I will briefly show you some results. In this figure, we took the Gemeint benchmark we saw earlier. Then we did a post-synthesis simulation to evaluate the gains in terms of power consumption. In the horizontal axis here, we have various mantissa bit widths, so 4, 8, 12, 20, etc. And then we have the baseline 64-bit FPU architecture. In the vertical axis, we have the average power consumed by Gemeint application when executed on each one of these hardware versions. All the results are normalized by the standard baseline RV64FD FPU. So now we report the miss rates achieved by each hardware configuration here. And you can see that we can achieve 41% power savings compared to the double precision version, even with no degradation in the quality of result, and up to 77% average power savings if we allow a 3.4% miss rate. Please note that these savings I'm talking about here are only concern the floating point computation, so it does not include memory or caches or anything else outside the FPU. Similarly, for computation time, we achieve up to 51% saving compared to the double precision version. Now, if we examine the total energy dissipated on the FPU, we observe 70% FPU energy savings without degrading the quality of results, and up to 89% energy savings for 3.4% miss rate. Regarding the area, in this case, the overhead can be as large as 8.5% at 0% miss rates. Since we have added hardware to the baseline architecture, so in terms of area, we don't actually save, but we have some overhead. So to summarize, we have shown how fine-grained trade-offs can be made between accuracy and energy savings by tuning the computation's precision. Now we'll talk just a little bit about our ongoing work. In what I presented until now, we introduced dynamic precision to allow the programmer to manually define the computation precision. Our ongoing work focuses on self-adaptive precision, which consists of actually deciding which precision to use automatically. For that, we developed a much optimized and customizable architecture where we can have multiple precisions in place. So we also developed the software API to control the hardware. The preliminary results seem to be promising, especially for iterative refinement algorithms, but we are still working on the proof of correctness as well as on the system level evaluation. So to conclude, we proposed a non-intrusive approach leveraging approximate computing for floating point by taking advantage of arbitrarily reduced floating point precision. We also developed the tool to evaluate the impact of floating point approximations on application level quality of result. So this led to the development of AXE-QEMU. And we also developed an approximate aware FPU, which enables fine-grained accuracy energy trade-offs at the hardware level. So a designer can make trade-offs between accuracy and energy. So thank you for your attention, and I will leave you with some references.